I've only been playing Escape from Tarkov for a few months, and Ground Zero is the first map I spent enough time on that I can make a professional assessment of it. Tarkov is far from realistic when compared to the true horrors of real combat. Still, it's one of the only games where it makes sense to apply some degree of real-life doctrine. We'll go over Ground Zero using the OCOG framework. Identify its target zones, key terrain, and movement patterns, and provide you with more structured parameters to orient yourself, navigate, and understand how this map works. OCOG stands for Observation and Fields of Fire, Avenues of Approach, Key Terrain, Obstacles, and Cover and Concealment. It's a framework used by real military units in the field to evaluate terrain and understand how the environment affects combat. I go into this more comprehensively in this video. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let's apply it to Ground Zero. Observation and fields of fire refer to how well you can see an area and how effectively you can engage targets within that space. High ground, open terrain, and clear sightlines all affect how lethal a position can be. In Tarkov, this concept translates into understanding where players are exposed and where enemies might be watching from. Recognizing these sidelines helps you avoid stepping into a bad position, and also gives you the opportunity to place yourself in advantageous positions for engagement. To approach that, we're gonna need to determine where ODAs and LDAs are positioned in the map. Open danger areas are spaces with extended visibility and very limited cover, making anyone crossing them vulnerable to long-range fire. Linear danger areas are long, straight paths that expose you to threats down their lengths. Ground Zero has 3 ODAs: the large open plaza in front of the Terror Group building, including the adjacent streets. This is the central area of the map. It's very exposed and commonly used by players moving across the map. Multiple buildings overlook this area, offering plenty of overwatch positions. It's common to see players transiting and fighting here. The open area in front of the scav checkpoint. This is typically a hot zone early in the raid. Players often spawn close to one another in this area, and many of them move through here to access or exit the Terror Group garage, heading toward or returning from American Checkpoint, Skyside Building, or the underground entrance. And the open space in front of Nakatani and Capital Insight. While still dangerous, is generally the least contested of the ODAs. It's mostly vulnerable to gunfire from the second floor of Capital Insight. This area is often exploited by extract campers. The main road that stretches from north to south, although partially obstructed by vehicles, still provides long-range engagement potential and can be considered as a linear danger area. Players can take fire from the ground and from nearby buildings overlooking it. As a rule, I always avoid crossing danger areas, but if it's unavoidable, I seek security in speed by moving quickly and unpredictably. Avenues of approach are the routes an attacking force can use to reach an objective. These paths are evaluated based on terrain, visibility, and how easily they can be defended or ambushed. In Ground Zero, movement follows a predictable pattern. Players spawning in the lower portion of the map tend to move upward, while those spawning up top push downward, while hitting objectives and key locations along the way. Solos often hug the borders of the map and move cautiously, avoiding open areas and minimizing risk. In contrast, larger teams and more experienced players tend to take more central paths and actively seek engagements. I always prefer to use the underground road to cross the map. It offers consistent cover and concealment, making it easier to control and react to any contact that happens inside. Understanding how players move will help you understand what other players are doing and where they're likely to go, allowing you to plan your own routes more effectively according to your objectives. Key terrain refers to any location that offers a clear tactical advantage, either by commanding observation over important areas, controlling access points, or simply offering critical resources or mission-related objectives. In Tarkov, these locations shape how players behave because of their strategic value, loot potential, or Overwatch capabilities. I have pinpointed 4 structures as key terrain in Ground Zero. The Terra Group building has both high value loot and tactical value. Its second floor offers Overwatch over the Plaza ODA, and its garage is a hotspot, especially early in the raid, as many players tend to spawn nearby and converge there. The Empire building is probably the hottest area in the map. It serves as a central hub, connects with the underground, and has valuable loot on the 3rd floor, where the mounted machine gun is. The Fusion building also connects with the underground and offers Overwatch positions from its side windows, the 2nd floor restaurant, and the balcony above Oasis. And the Capitol inside building offers a strong command over its frontal area. It provides Overwatch on the ODA in front of it and contains valuable loot and computers inside. Key terrain interacts directly with avenues of approach. Whether players are looking for a specific item or for fights, these locations often become waypoints. Also, when you hear distant gunfire, it's often coming from in or around one of these areas. Obstacles are anything that hinders movement or slows down an advancing force. This includes terrain features, man-made barriers, and environmental clutter. Ground Zero is set in the city of Tarkov, a war-torn environment. Rubble, debris, and abandoned vehicles are everywhere. Some areas are reinforced with sandbags, barbed wire, and other static defenses. All of these elements restrict movement and reduce lines of sight, shaping how players navigate and control space. When traversing such areas, players need to slow down, scan thoroughly, and avoid committing to open movement without first identifying potential angles of attack. These obstacles create natural choke points and are often used by players to set up ambushes. Cover and concealment are 2 separate but related concepts. Cover provides protection from enemy fire. Concealment hides your position but doesn't stop bullets. The obstacles we just talked about often provide both. In Ground Zero, crates, vehicles, doorways, rubble, furniture, these can all be used to protect yourself or hide your movement. And when moving, you should always try to go from cover to cover, or at least have in mind where the closest cover position is, just in case you're engaged. Just like in real life, standing in the open to shoot in Tarkov is something very stupid to do. When engaging or responding to an engagement, one should always be in a covert position before identifying and returning fire, and do that by peeking and exposing the least amount of yourself as possible to enemy fire. That's Ground Zero through the lens of OCOC. This kind of analysis gives you a better grasp of how terrain shapes engagements. OCOC is just one part of a broader military tactical framework known as MATTC. And I talk about that in more depth in this video here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.